Giant tech companies are intentionally frying your kid's brain. If you wonder why so many young people are just kind of and why every teacher on this app, me included, are talking about how the kids these days simply do not have the intellectual capacity that you would expect of someone of their age, and not in an our generation was so much smarter kind of way, but in a genuinely shocking to appreciate kind of way. It's because big tech companies are trying to rot your kid's brain. And if I had any tinfoil in my possession, I would be wrapping it around my head because I would be saying it is intentional. Here at the school system, we were promised that technology would invigorate the children's learning, and new data coming out suggests that the opposite is in fact true, and that the more schools adopt technology and the more one-to-one those schools go with their technology, the worse the learning outcomes get. Not just test scores going down, but student behavior issues going up, student retention of the content issues going up. And we get to a place where the problem is the overwhelming amount of digital garbage, short form, high stimulation stuff being blasted into their brains 24/7, where they'll wake up and look at their phone, and they'll go to school and they'll get on their Chromebook, and then they'll go home and they'll look at their phone, or they'll play the video game, or they'll watch the TV, or whatever. And then the solution is always another digital tool, right? So you create the problem of too much digital stuff in your face at all times, and then you sell the solution to the problem, which is another tool that would reduce these accesses to these apps, or include more learning apps, or reduce the amount of screen time because you could download an app that would monitor the screen time, or you would download an app that would allow a parent to see what their child was viewing, and so on. Our solution that we're adopting is to reduce that one-to-one screen time as much as absolutely possible. My school, everything, the state, my school specifically, and so on, banned the phones and has strict penalties for students using their phones in a classroom setting. But this year, we're rolling out new restrictions on the tablets themselves and teaching them like an occasional tool rather than an everyday, all-day use kind of thing, because we are trying to be responsive to this data. But the reality is that if the kids are waking up and getting on their phones, and then they're going home and they're getting on their phones, and they're staying up all night on their devices, we can sort of throw rocks at the problem of screen addiction is melting our children's brains, but it's going to require all of us. It's going to require everyone that cares about kids, whether you're a parent or an uncle or a grandparent or whatever, to step in and say, hey, maybe it's time to go outside and touch the grass a little bit. And if you're trying to reduce your overall screen time, I wrote 3 books. It would be really, really cool if you checked them out. They're called The Night Sky Darker. It's science fiction. I think you'd like it. Smooches. Bye.